Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. What an afternoon. Okay, so there are. Oh my gosh. So I'm one minute late going live because George and we bought this fog machine. You guys know where this is going if I say fog machine. We bought this fog machine from Target, and I told George I just wanted like one puff of fog, and then we can get, some spooky vibes going on in here. And he could not get the machine to shut off. So then our fire alarm went off. So then we get a call from the alarm department, like, we're calling the fire department. And I'm just like, it's just a fog machine. So that was fun. And Evie is just like, it's hurting my ears. And I'm like, it's going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. For some reason, it comes with the remote where you're supposed to be able to tell it when you want it to pump out the fog. Yep, Evie's getting ready to go in the car to go pick up Bubby, Andrew, from school. I did add some extra purple lights that make things nice and spooky, and our cat is still hanging out with us. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. The lady's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, it's just a Halloween fog machine. She's like, you won't be surprised how many of those we have come in every year. So there's that. I also because of that, I didn't have time to change. So I just threw on, all I have on is like a white tank top and shorts. And so I threw on a hoodie, but it's too hot in here. So I'm just going to have to take this off. I'm like, well, we'll just bare arm it today. And I feel like I'm like sweating. So deep breaths, everybody. Happy Halloween. Yes, it is so funny. You guys, this is so funny. Yes, there are Hello Kitties in costumes throughout this whole room. We should have a see who can actually spot the Hello Kitties. I do have a window open over here so that I can actually keep like sending the fog that way. But it's nice and spooky, and it will become less spooky, I guess, over time. Hello, everyone. If you're just joining us, we just had a smoke alarm incident here. I didn't even get a chance to put on like eyelashes or anything. So this is super fun. I have had such a great day today. So yes, Spooktacular greatness. And speaking of Spooktacular, I was just looking for my other phone because this is, there's secret cover art there for The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. Little unintentional spoiler. Let me see if I can pull up Canva, but I don't have Discord on this phone. So I'm going to see if I can pull it up on my computer here, because I know there's some questions in the Friday coffee chat. So I will pull that out. So let's go over our Spooktacular calendar. If you didn't see it, I posted it to the Facebook group and I think to the Discord recently, but we're going to go over it real quick today. And I meant to bring it up on on the bigger screen, but life goes on. Things got crazy. I think it's in my team projects. I'm going to find it. I do not see it. Okay. It was literally like right in this middle of this thing. All right. So I'm just going to pull it up in Canva over here. Unless Renee moved it. Let's see. Sarah Cannon's team. It should be there. And here we have it. I'm just kidding, Renee. I know you didn't do anything. Renee is doing so much work, you guys, for this Spooktacular. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so what we're going to do, and actually I wonder if I can just share this screen really quickly. No, I know you didn't move it. I was just teasing you. Let's see. I'm going to pull this Chrome tab. It's so funny because I don't know if you see it, but there's just like, there's two fans going. So this smoke just keeps coming. Okay, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger so that we can kind of go over this together. it's not the prettiest little screen share. But okay, so we have day 1 of the Spooktacular is going to be, oh, you can't really see that. That's too small. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. This is why I need my other phone. So day 1 of the Spooktacular is going to be next Wednesday, right? The 19th. And, oh, I bet I could pull it all up in Notion. This might be more fun. Forgive me, you guys. Forgive me. I feel like I always try to be sort of put together when it comes to these coffee chats, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Okay, so next Wednesday, the 19th, we have our Spooktacular is going to begin, and it will be 13 days of so much fun. I've got over $1,000 in giveaways that are going to be happening, from full sets of ebooks to full sets of paperbacks to Scentsy giveaways and witchy stuff and tarot, and it's just going to be super, super fun. So lots of surprises that are going to be happening. We're going to have, if you're in the Facebook group, there's going to be more like memes and games and stuff going on in the Facebook group. So if you're not in there, check out the description box and come join us. If you're just not a Facebook person, which I totally understand, then come join us on Discord for sure, because it's going to be, we're going to be posting some of those things there as well. And then all of the giveaways will be done by Rafflecopter, so that I don't have to like keep track of who posted where. And those are going to be all on my website at sarahcannon.com. So I'm going to give you guys links, and we'll keep things open for a few days so that everybody can get a chance to enter to win. It's going to be epic. It's going to be probably the most giveaways I've ever done. It's going to be super fun. Christabelle has put together for us a scavenger hunt again this year. And this year, the scavenger, like last year, the scavenger hunt, it was our first time that we had ever done it. And so it was just like random words. But this year she's put together a phrase, but it will be jumbled up. So you will have to get every day's clues for the 13 days. And then you will have to like unjumble it and see if you can figure out what the phrase is. And it's going to be super fun. So at the end of the scavenger hunt, after 13 days, so you'll have 1 clue each day, and the clues will come from my Shadow Demons books. So you'll need to have the ebooks or the paperbacks to participate, and they will come from those books. And then at the end, you'll get a link to a Google form that you can fill out. And if you can correctly tell us what the phrase is, then you're going to get a special treat. And this past year, it took me forever to get those out. So this time, I promise, now that I have Renee helping, we will get those out a lot faster, and it's going to be super fun. So on the 19th, we are going to have our welcome to the Spooktacular. We'll kind of go over some of the events and stuff, and we'll have the grand prize announcement, and that will be super fun on October 20th. So one of the things that's going to be going on is we will still have our Friday coffee chats, and those will be kind of more, if they're going to be coffee chat focused, but there'll also be some extra giveaways that'll go on live here for people who are live on the coffee chat. And there's also going to be a chance to win entry for a limited number of people to a special Zoom party with me. So not exactly a one-on-one, but it will be a Zoom party where we can all get on camera and we can all hang out with each other. And the admins will all be invited to join in with that. And then there will be like 35 people will get a chance to win to come on that Zoom chat. And that's going to be super fun as well. So there'll be chances to win that every day and on the coffee chat. So it's just going to be, super fun. And then on the 20th, we're going to have a bonus video. So there will be some bonus videos that will be coming up on my channel besides just the live chat. And every time we do a bonus video, we will also do a premiere. So this is something, if you weren't here for this last year when we were doing some of the Demons Forever readings, but a premiere is basically like a live, but instead of me being here live on camera, you guys are still live in the chat, but the video is pre-recorded. So on the 20th, we are going to do a pre-recorded reading of Breadcrumbs, which is my Hansel and Gretel story that went out in the Once Upon Once Upon a Bite earlier this year. And I'm going to read that aloud. And if you want a free copy of that, remember, you can just join my newsletter and you can get all of my short stories for free. So that link is down below. So that's going to be the 20th. On the 21st, we'll have our coffee chat. So that'll be the first Friday, next Friday. Gosh, that's already next Friday, you guys. October is flying by. So that'll be our first coffee chat. And that day, next Friday, is also going to be a virtual book signing. And this is going to take place not just for me and my books, but also for like, I think 7 or 8 other authors. So Nikki Jefford will be there. I think Carolyn Glockel will be there. Melissa Marr, I think, will be there. So there's a lot of really great authors who will be there, and you'll get a chance to pretty much buy for the first time ever any of my books in my backlist signed. So I've never offered this before. I've done a signing for The Witch's Key. I've done a signing for Beautiful Demons, and that might be it. Otherwise, you could just like purchase your own and get a book plate, or you could get the ebooks, right? But I've never had it available where you could actually buy, all 11 books signed by me personally. So, it's going to be fun. So this will be a chance. And what will happen is that will be on next Friday. It'll all be happening inside a Facebook group, but I'll also be sharing the link to my books. You'll be able to order them on a Google form. So it'll be like an order form where you'll say, these are the books that I want, like in a checklist, and it'll tell you the prices and everything. And then you'll have one full price, and then I will invoice you. Renee and I will invoice you an amount, and you'll have to pay that. And then I will actually order the books. So the orders will come in on the 21st, and I'll probably leave them open all next weekend just for, people to get a chance to actually do it. And then orders will close on Monday. We'll have invoices will go out that week. And then as soon as your invoice is in, your payment is in, I will order all the books. So they will probably get to me early November. So I will sign them in November, and you should have them before Christmas, hopefully before Thanksgiving holidays, unless maybe you're in Australia and you're ordering them, in which case the shipping is going to be like, it's going to be probably pretty expensive, but I will happily send them to you as long as you can pay the shipping. So that will be next Friday. Then October 22nd, next Saturday, we are doing a Hocus Pocus 2 watch party. So by popular demand, we are going to use Teleparty, which is part of, if you have a Chrome or an Edge browser on your computer, you can download the Teleparty extension, sign in to you'll have to have your own subscription to Disney Plus. Uh-oh, I heard a noise. Okay. Hopefully the fire department is not here, you guys, but I'm alone. So talk amongst yourself. I will be right back. Okay. It's just the neighbor boy. Okay, that is good, because I was like, well, what are we going to do if the fire department is here? If you are just joining us, George and I decided to do a fog machine in here at the beginning, and it set the fire alarm off, and our fire alarm is attached to our house alarm, which they call. So oh my gosh, I'm having too much fun with this. It's so funny. But yes, it's just our neighbor. He'll come back when Andrew's home. So we're going to do a Hocus Pocus 2 watch party. And actually, if anybody wants to come early or something and we can watch a Hocus Pocus 1, 2, I would be fine with that too. But basically the way it works is I will give you a link to Teleparty, and you'll have to download it as an extension to your Chrome or Edge browser. And then if you have Disney Plus, you will sign into your own Disney Plus, and then you'll click the link that I gave you, and it will bring you to a Teleparty watch party. And it will be just like what you kind of are doing right now on YouTube, where there will be live chat, but you'll actually be able to hear my voice, and I can pause the movie and I can talk to you about it and stuff like that. We can all bring our popcorn and our hot chocolate or whatever you want, and we can just hang out. Yeah, a double feature would be really fun, because my son has never seen Hocus Pocus 1, so I thought it might be kind of fun fun to introduce him to that. So maybe we can just all watch it. I'll kind of just vlog with the fire department, Gina. Oh my gosh. So that will be next Saturday. And I think it's going to be, let me give you the time. So that will be 2 p.m. Eastern time. So I kind of wanted to do it at night, but then I was also thinking if we do it at night, then nobody overseas will be able to join. And I'm hoping that people overseas will be able to watch it from Disney Plus with us. So maybe if anybody is willing to, like somebody that has Disney Plus who's in the UK or something is willing to do like a test run with me sometime this week, I would really appreciate it, just so we can see that it all works and things like that. But if you don't have Disney Plus, then you can get a 30-day trial. I think they do for free. So you're welcome to join. Naomi says, I don't have Disney Plus, but I have another service where I can watch Hocus Pocus. So unfortunately not. The way that it will be is it will all be streaming from Disney Plus. And that's just the way Teleparty works. And unfortunately, it's the only way that we can do it legally to do a watch party. And I want to make sure that we stay within the rules of the internet. What we could do also is, I was going to say we could, I don't know. I don't want to make it complicated. I want to include as many people as possible, but I also don't want to make it stressful and complicated. So it's just going to be Disney Plus. And if you don't have it, unfortunately, you won't be able to join us for that particular event, but there's tons and tons of events. So that will be 2 p.m. next Saturday. And all of these times are, so someone's at the door again, but hopefully we hear a beep if there's like movement outside. Then on the 23rd, which is Sunday, there will be a spotlight on Eternal Sorrows. And then on the 24th, see you at Sir Bean is all I said. And I'm going to leave that a little bit of a surprise. Then I'm going to be doing a extra video of me, kind of a vlog of me setting up my gaming room. So this will be on the 25th of October. And I put together this year my own PC, which I've never done before. Usually I make George do it, or I buy one that's already put together. But this time I actually bought my own case and all my own insides, and I put together my own computer and decorated my space with Hello Kitty and posters and other things like that. So on the 25th, I'm going to show you that kind of setup process and a little bit around my gaming room. And then on the 26th, I am going to live stream my very first ever Twitch stream. I'm going to live stream The Quarry from my Xbox. So The Quarry is a horror game that is sort of choose your own adventure. So there's not a lot of games like survival horror are just like you're moving the character around all the time. But with The Quarry, it's kind of like cutscenes, like you're watching a movie, and then every once in a while I'll get control of the players, and it's multi-POV, and it's just chef's kiss. It's such a great game. I love it. If you watched me play Until Dawn last year, it is the same kind of game done by the same group of people. I have gotten SM Maple, I don't know if you're on here. I have gotten a little bit of a warning that The Quarry sometimes when it comes to Twitch gets copyright warning for the music. So I'm going to be looking into some solutions for that. Oh, there you are. I was trying to see if, since I'm not monetizing my stream, if they would still do that. There is like a copyright version of it. But I think that probably the best thing to do will be to just turn the music off, which might make it a little bit less enjoyable, but I'm going to play around with that this week and kind of do some of my research, but it's going to be so fun. I have never played it with the 80 themed clothes, but maybe I should do that for our run through. It would be really fun. And don't expect me to keep everyone alive, because last time I played, I've only played through it one time. And last time I played through it, like so many people were alive, and then I couldn't figure out how to shoot the gun fast enough, and like everyone died. It was terrible. Like literally no one survived at the end. So I didn't even get through the whole story. Now last year, and this is something that I will ask you guys, anybody that actually shows up to the stream, I'm going to be doing it on Twitch, and my Twitch is just like twitch.tv/Sarah Cannon, I think. So feel free to come hang out. Twitch, come follow me on Twitch. I'll post some links there. The date of the Quarry playthrough is October 26th. However, there is no way to play through the game like this one will be one that will be hard to watch if you're overseas, because I can't play it early. So it's going to start at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I'm probably going to play from 9 till midnight. So 3 hours, but there's no way I can get through the whole game in 3 hours. So I'm planning to just keep going with it. Unlike last year where I just played for one night. If anyone is willing to join me, I will keep going. So I will play it on the 26th, but I will also continue playing it on the 27th and the 28th and so on for as long as I can until the game is over, for anybody who wants to come hang out and watch it with me. I don't even care if it's just one person. If we're hanging out, we'll have some fun and it'll be great. But I cannot, unfortunately, do that one like early during the day because it scares my kids. So I have to do it after they're asleep. But because I'm doing it on Twitch this year, you will be able, I think, to watch a replay for a limited time. I think it saves your streams for a couple of days. So, oh yeah, you'll 100% watch the playthrough. I love it. I felt kind of bad last year because we just played Until Dawn for like 3 or 4 hours. But then you don't get the rest of the story. It's like, you need the story, right? Okay, so then on the 27th, in addition to the Quarry playing at night, I'm going to have a video or some events about why I love being a writer, with some special giveaways for that. And then on the 28th of October, and I'm not expecting you to remember this, I'm just kind of talking through it. On the 28th of October, I'm going to do a coffee chat that is specifically about manifesting your best dream life. And in that coffee chat, I'm going to have some fun, really fun giveaways that are specifically just for those who are here live. So it's going to be awesome. Then on October 29th, hey, Summer, is Happy Birthday, Beautiful Demons, because it will be Beautiful Demons' 12th book birthday. It's hard to believe, to be honest. I don't know, man. It's just like, how has 12 years gone by? I don't know. It's crazy. It's so fun. It's so amazing. Over 500,000 copies of this series sold, and over 1 million copies of Beautiful Demons out in the world. It's just, it means the world to me. To all of you who have read it and loved it and continue to read, it means so much. If you're watching the live stream because you know me from Heart Breathings or anything else and you haven't read them yet, definitely go download them for my book birthday as a present. Share them with friends, tell people about it. There's like news on the back end happening with my book baby that I can't even talk about yet. There's so much fun stuff. There's audiobooks coming in 2023. There's just good stuff. There's a Kickstarter coming in 2023 with some special editions. I cannot wait. It's going to be epic. So that will be on the 29th. And also throughout this entire, we kind of talked about this already, but throughout this entire event, I'm going to be spotlighting charities across the world that help foster kids. And the one that we'll be sponsoring or talking about and spotlighting here in the US is called Comfort Cases. And George and I will be donating $1,000 to Comfort Cases. And I'm definitely going to be encouraging you, if you have even $5, $10 to give to one of the charities in your own country that helps foster kids move and transition from, potentially a really rough home situation into a safe space where they have backpacks and blankets and toiletries and things that really belong to them, and they can move with dignity from one space into another. It's a charity that means a lot to me. And if you don't know, if you're not familiar with Beautiful Demons, Harper, who is my heroine in that series, starts out as a foster kid, and all she's looking for is a place to belong. And so Renee has been working on finding websites of similar places, in Canada, the UK, and Australia. But if you are not in the US, Canada, UK, or Australia, and you know of a similar, like if you're in Germany and you know of a similar type of charity, I would love to get a link to that so that we can spotlight for people to give all over the world. Would be amazing if we can come through with that. Especially this time of year, y'all, it makes such a difference. On the 30th, which is a Sunday, I think, we are going to have our true crime ghost story. And this will also be something that will be pre-recorded, but will be a premiere here on YouTube. And I think I'm setting the premiere for noon that day. So yeah, so it's Sunday and it will premiere at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So I will give you guys all these times as we move through the next couple of weeks. but it's going to be so fun. So this will be probably a 30 to 45 minute premiere where we're going to feature a true crime ghost story. And I'm going to go, it might even be an hour. I haven't recorded it yet, where I'm going to talk about the case. I'm going to speculate a little bit about what I think happened. And I'm going to talk about some of the stories that people have had about that place. And then I might even have a special fictional version of it for you to read that day. And then later that evening or afternoon, we're going to also be doing a NaNoWriMo Q&A over on my Heart Breathings channel with some of our Heart Breathings admins, which is going to be super fun. Not exactly part of the Spooktacular, but I thought I would mention it. And then, of course, on October 31st, we'll celebrate Halloween, and that I will have a special Coven tarot reading for you all. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that in video or if it'll just be in the blog post and on like a picture of it and that I'll explain, but I will keep you guys updated on that. So the Spooktacular is a big event in my life, just because I would not be here. I wouldn't even have Heart Breathings. It wouldn't even be possible if it wasn't for Beautiful Demons and the whole like backlist of books and the 500,000 downloads that I've had. You know, it's like none of my life for the last 12 years would have been possible without all of you and everyone who has taken a moment to say, ooh, that looks like a good book, and given it a chance, or clicked on one of my videos and said, oh my gosh, that looks really interesting. And I can't even express how much it means to me. So this event for 13 days is all about just giving back and saying thank you, and let's really celebrate and let's have fun with it. So I hope it's going to be fun for all of you as well. So lots of giveaways, lots of fun things happening. So now I am going to quickly, well, first of all, I'm going to pivot to some of the coffee chat questions that we have, because I know we've actually gotten a few, I think just today. Steph says, have you or has anyone that you know used a mind map to outline your story or novel? I have never used a mind map before, and I don't know anyone that has, like personally know anyone that has, but I've seen some videos on it on YouTube. I have used mind maps for business and course type ideas, but I've never used it for books. So if anybody here has, let me know if you've ever used a mind map. It's not something I've actually tried, but I have. Isn't a mind map similar to the snowflake method? Is that true? Let me know if I'm off there. Jenna says, I love mind mapping. So Jenna, do you have any videos on mind mapping? If not, maybe that would be a good topic for you. Nim, the writer, says, how do you stick to one idea when newer and shinier ideas keep popping up? I've been working on this one idea for Nano for the past few months, but I recently got hit with a shiny new one. And now the one I was working on feels less shiny. And all I want to do is jump into the new idea. You know, this is so hard. And for anybody that's been following me for a while, you know, in terms of my writing, that sometimes, like what has happened with book 12, I'm on a roll with books, and then I hit a stumbling block. So it's either that it's too hard for me to write during my current situation in life or whatever, or I'm too stressed, or the idea just isn't coming to me. The truth is I can actually physically write pretty fast. I'm a fast typist. I don't really struggle so much with dialogue and things like that. It comes to me pretty fast. It's the plotting that I really want. It's like it has to fit together exactly like a puzzle. And if it doesn't fit perfectly, I just can't move forward. And that's just, if I don't have the like quiet time to work on something, then I get stuck. And part of the danger of that is if you get stuck with one idea, if you constantly just start thinking that another idea is going to be really good, sometimes you never finish anything. So this is exactly it right here. Taryn says, shiny idea syndrome usually happens in the murky middle. And this is true for a lot of people. And it's true even when you're planning. So if you find, and this is how I deal with the shiny object syndrome stuff, is that if you find that you're excited about an idea and you start working your way through it and trying to figure out what happens and plotting it or writing it and your discovery writing it or however your process is, and you're getting somewhere, and then you get stuck and it gets hard, that you say, I'm not exactly sure, there's a lot of decisions. It doesn't even matter if it's in the middle. Sometimes that can happen with the, a few days before Nano. That could happen in the first act. It could happen in the first couple of chapters that you're like, oh, but I got this decision to make. How do I want this magic system to be? And you start to find that you get stuck where it feels hard. That's often where, boom, shiny new idea will come up, because there's some part of our brain that says, this one is shinier and this one's going to be easier and it's going to come faster. And so then we look at the hard idea and we say, well, I can't do that one because this one's going to be really great. And then we move to that one. But what inevitably happens is this shiny new idea eventually also becomes hard, because we don't have the tools, or we don't have our process down yet, or we don't actually have ourselves in a grounded mental place to be creating the way that we want to. And so for me, what I try to analyze when I'm looking at a shiny new idea is, am I attracted to this new idea because it really is such a better idea and it's what I need to be writing intuitively, like checking in with my intuition? Is this what I need to be writing? Or am I just excited about this because this other one feels hard? And how would I feel if this other one suddenly unlocked for me and started to feel better? Would I be excited about it again or not? And I start to look at those things. And it's also, not necessarily a bad idea to start saying, are you burned out or just frustrated at the moment? Is it procrastination or a cry for help? It is so true with writing that sometimes you just need a break. You need to take the pressure off, and you need to let an idea sit for a while and marinate. And sometimes you have a great idea, but you're really just not at the skill level where you can write it, or it's just not ready yet. And that idea needs more baking time, right? But if you find that you constantly start new things because this gets hard, jump to the next one. When this gets hard, jump to the next one, then you've got a problem. Otherwise, sometimes I will let myself jump to the new idea, because sometimes that's where the inspiration is. And I'd rather be writing something than sitting around being sad that I'm writing nothing, if that makes sense. So Kate says, I missed the last couple of weeks and book 12 has gone silent. Can I ask if that's been put in the drawer for the time being? So book 12 is not in the drawer. It is still actively being worked on, but I wanted to be writing. So book 12, I have a decent amount of work written that I might keep. I've thrown out a lot of words in the past year, but this is one of those situations where, for whatever reason, that book is not ready to come through me yet. And as frustrating as it may be for my readers, I'm finally at a point where I'm like, I can't be anything more than I am. I can only just be me. And I've had a hell of a year when it comes to online attacks and, housing insecurity and moving and traveling. And, there's been a lot, and putting together, new courses and hiring new help and getting settled. It has not been a place of quiet time to let such a complex story come through me. And so instead of continuing to hit my head against a wall, I decided to move to something that felt a little bit easier. Yes, I will admit, but also that I feel excited about, so that I can get back into the process of writing, and something that I knew I could start writing more quickly and actually publish this year, hopefully. So I am working on 2 projects at once. So I give myself a certain amount of time to work on The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. And then I also am giving myself time to work on the book 12 plot. So if it hit to a point where book 12 idea unlocked for me, I would just jump right away back into it. But for me right now, the writing is going into The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, whereas the plot work and the thought work is still kind of hanging out around book 12. So it's not in the drawer. It's just not ready yet. And it's not my only active story. So Libby says, I picked up Chill and Prosper by Denise Duffield Thomas after you mentioned it in your notebook challenge video, and I just adore it. I'd never have heard of it otherwise, so thank you for the recommendation. Are there any other books or educators you could recommend that focus specifically on building a business as a creative? So obviously, I highly recommend Amber McHugh. She is my business bestie mentor, and she just finished the Planathon, which those videos might still be up. So maybe you could go to last week's video, a coffee chat, and see if you can still get a link and get into that. I was a speaker at that, and it was so amazing and super fun. But she has a lot of great stuff, and she has a podcast, but I don't know that she keeps it up to date as much. One of my favorite podcasts to listen to is James Wedmore's Mind Your Business podcast. I think it's really good, and it's very woo-woo. It's more about mindset and getting your energy in the right place, but also good tips for being an entrepreneur. And he's like an 8-figure a year entrepreneur. So he knows what he's talking about, but he also is more into manifesting and good energy and crystals and different stuff like that. So I really love that. Oh, you met with Janelle. That's so exciting. I love Janelle too. But let's see, who else? Business stuff. Pretty much anything by Ryan Holiday is really good. Right now I'm reading his book, Stillness is the Key. And I do have The Daily Stoic, which I also have been enjoying. That's a big question. And I'm trying to think off the cuff, who else I would recommend, because there's so many. But for now, start with Ryan Holiday, Denise Duffield Thomas, her other books too. Get Rich Lucky Bitch, pardon my language, but that's the name of the book, is also really good. And there's, I don't know, Twyla Tharp's book. What is it called? It's The Creative Habit or something like that, is also really good. I just had finished that several years ago and really enjoyed it. So I will try to come up with a list for you, Libby. Tessa says, I got an email today with 2 tiny notes on one of my books. It's my first one, published in 2019. I haven't read it in detail yet because it's unsolicited criticism. Oh, the joys of all authors. But I wonder if I should look at it at all, or if I should let the book just be what it is. Do you have any advice on how to deal with emails like this? So one thing, if it is unsolicited, your heroine shouldn't do this, or your heroine sucks, or I got an email after book 7 came out, which was my first book with multiple POV, that said, it's obvious you're not writing your own books together, and it's obvious where this story is going. And I just wanted to write back to that person and be like, I would love to hear where you think this story's going, because I guarantee it's not where it's going, because everybody is going to be surprised by what happens next in this book. But that kind of unsolicited criticism can just delete, don't respond, move on with your life. But if it's typos, where they're messaging you and saying, hey, I found a few of these typos, or these sentences read weird, I always listen to that kind of stuff, because there's always typos that sneak through in my books, even with multiple beta readers, multiple editors. It's just hard to catch them all. And if I get a typo from a reader that's presented kindly, hey, I love your books, but I found these 3 typos, I appreciate it so much, because I can go back and change it. Or if they say this part didn't make any sense to me, maybe I'd revisit it and be like, was this confusing? And see kind of how it is. So I think it depends on what type of criticism it is. If you see the email and you know it's unsolicited criticism, but you haven't actually read it yet, if you feel that you are in a place where you would feel derailed by that criticism, just don't open it. No big deal. But if you feel okay, I can read it, and if it's bad criticism that tells me I'm a terrible writer, then I can just delete it. But if it's a good typo, then, if it's a good email that's giving me really constructive typo or help with the storyline. But it just depends on what your view is, or whatever. It depends on what your emotional state is. I totally think it's fine to predict the plot as a reader. And what I want is, for people to think that they know exactly where it's going. Because if you're a true writer who's working on your craft, what your goal with the types of books that I write is to Haha. Welcome home, George. Your job, hopefully, is to lead people where you think that where you can predict where they think the story is going to go so that you can actually take it in a different direction. So I don't have a problem with people trying to predict it, but I do have a problem with someone sending me an email saying that it's obvious what you're doing with this story and I hate it. And it's obvious someone else is writing these. It's like, nope, never used a ghostwriter. And I think that's a rude email. So Vanessa says, I love all your content and tuning in on the live coffee chat has become a regular habit before I turn into bed every Friday. This will be my 6th year of doing nano, but this is the first year where I'm plotting. I love writing things by hand. So having your Preptober planner has been a blessing. So my question is, if I'm planning on doing something like having one world, multiple series, but not all series are in the same subgenre, would it be advisable to also plan something like my reader can choose to read the series individually or go on a mystery hunt throughout all of them, like the series was having one giant villain arc going across them? So I think that when it comes to writing one world with multiple series, I think that's totally fine. How part of it is what's the subgenres that you're dealing with? Because if it's like paranormal romance and urban fantasy, those go so well together that you would want to separate them out. And ideally, in my opinion, what you would want to do is have it be where, this series that's in this subgenre and follows these characters can be read standalone. And this other series that you meet some of the other characters and some of the things intertwine can also be read standalone and doesn't necessarily have to be read in order to understand what comes next. However, I have also seen writers try to do different subgenres that are so drastically different, where it's like one of them is a police procedural mystery set in modern day, and this other one is a historical romance set in Celtic times. It's like, okay, when we get to that point where they're so drastically different and there's no like time travel element or something like that, then I think you've got a problem with your readership following you through to every single thing. But I think the way that I would recommend doing it, even though this might not be the way you decide to do it, always follow your own intuition, would be to say, I've got multiple, like one world, I'm writing multiple series, but they're all self-contained, even though they might interweave, they can all be read individually. And then give your readers a roadmap where you say, if you want to read everything, like if you go look at my sarahcannon.com website, there's a reading order there where it tells you the order that I would ideally read it in. So you can give them the ideal like world reading order. And some readers will read everything. And some readers will be like, I don't like urban fantasy, but I love paranormal romance. Give me the Smexy Times. This is what I'm reading. And you want to give them a good experience with just that one series in and of itself. So those are our coffee chat questions. Not letting unsolicited advice cross the moat to my creative island. Glennon and Abby. Yes, I have not read Untamed or anything like that, but I've heard it's really good. I don't know if it's from that book or not, but yeah, unsolicited advice. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying to do that in one of my books where characters pop up on other books like surprise Easter eggs. I love that as a reader for sure. Super, super love it. I think where you start to get into issues as a marketing strategy is when it's like, there's 4 different series, but they have to be read in this exact order. And they're all different subgenres. That you start to get confused readers who don't want to buy everything. It's like, I like the vampire series, but I don't want to read the werewolves. And then they skip things and they miss stuff. So give them a clear roadmap, but make each series standalone if you can. That would be my way. This is Charlotte's daughter. Hi. Hello, Charlotte's daughter. Welcome to the coffee chat. So let's talk just a little bit about, so we've got the Spooktacular. Let's talk a little bit about how my writing has been going in general. So I have been trying to spend my Tuesdays specifically working on the disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, and then working on it at other times throughout the week, but that being the day that is just like, this is my writing day. Like Renee doesn't message me unless it's like an emergency. And I try to just stay in my writing zone for the whole day on Tuesday. And this past Tuesday, when I was sitting at Panera, I had a huge, massive breakthrough in The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. And this is so much my writing process, is that I can try to figure out. And I've got little pieces. I did not turn the AC off or on. That did not happen to me. George is asking, did I turn it off? I did not touch it. But if like an image, it's almost always for me an image in my head of boom, this particular thing happening. I don't want to say it because it'll give away spoiler stuff. But if I see it, it like unlocks the whole story for me. And that happened for me on Tuesday, which is like one of the best writing things ever. And it hasn't happened to me in over like a year and a half. And to explain to you how joyful that made me, I can't even tell you. And I don't know if it's partially in response to the fact that I gave up sugar and flour and my brain fog is clearing up and it allows me to think so much more clearly, or if it's just the fact that I'm giving myself this space to be a writer and not have to do videos or anything else on that day. But it's so exciting. So I have been filling out index cards like mad. I was actually, before the fog incident, I was about to put about 15 post-it notes up on this wall behind me, because I was up last night until like 11 o'clock filling out post-it notes and all these things. And I'm like furious. So if you didn't know, this weekend we are doing if you're a writer, we're doing our final writing retreat of the year, virtual writing retreat for Heart Breathing's writing community. And Rhiannon, who I think is here, Rhiannon and I are doing a joint co-hosted stream. And the theme this week is that we are in Salem, Massachusetts, and each one of us like has our own little shop. So Rhiannon and I have the Witch's Brew tea shop, and we will be going live tonight from 9 to 11 Eastern and writing. And I am hoping to write at least 2,000 words tonight. And then I'm hoping to write almost all day tomorrow and all day Sunday at everybody else's sprints. So I'm very excited. Yay. I thought you were here. So if you guys aren't already following Rhiannon, open her up in a new tab and go follow her. Jenna is also sprinting. I don't know if any of our other sprinters are here right now. I think I saw Tracy was here. Little Forest Tomes this is Lisa. She's also one of our sprinters. And Tracy, if you're here, comment and I will bring you up as well. If you guys want to go follow them, if you don't want to pick them out right now, we have a whole group. I think maybe Diane was here too. We have a whole group of people that sprint, and this is just like become a family of people. And if you are a writer, it's great. And even if you're not a writer, you could still come hang out with us and do other things. Like sometimes I do cleaning sprints or planning sprints and things like that. And it's really fun. Summer says, how in the world does that work? Everyone just sits together and writes. Is there music and stuff? So yay, Diane is here. I thought I saw you. Diane is another one of our fabulous sprinters. So go follow her here on YouTube, or you can follow us on Facebook. And then in the description box of this video, there is a link to that group and that page. So come check that out. So the way that the writing sprints works is it's just like this. You're live on YouTube and we kind of chat for a little bit. And then we set a timer for 25 minutes, or people do kind of their own lengths of sprints. And some people like Lisa, sometimes I think Tracy will play music during the breaks, like during the sprinting time. I tend to just mute everything so that you can turn on your own music. So it's like you'll have your YouTube open in one window and your document open in another, and then you can just go and do your writing and turn on your own music. So I will usually have what I usually do is like 3 prongs. I'll have the sprints set up on my iPad so I can watch them there, and then I'll have music going on my phone, and then I'll have my other laptop there for the writing. So set it up however you wish, but really it's just you can listen to your own music if you want, or you can listen if somebody else has it, or you can just stay in silence if you want to. And then after 25 minutes, we all kind of come back into the chat and say how we did. And then 5 minutes of kind of hanging out and then back into it. And it's really, really helpful to just have a group of other people. It's like you're sprinting with 20 other people or 5 other people, or however many it ends up being, 50 other people. And it's just really fun to get the encouragement, to get the motivation of like, I'm not here by myself. So come join us. We'll be there tonight. And I think maybe Tracy is coming up after me, but I didn't check the schedule after me today, after my live stream is over now. But tomorrow we have like back to back sprints almost all day long. So come join us there. It's really, really fun. Yeah. The world's best study party. I love it. But yeah, my writing, I'm hoping, is going to take off. And if it does, then what my hope is that I will finish this book either by the end of October, which is kind of unlikely, or in sometime in November. And then I can edit it and actually publish this book this year, and potentially continue during NaNoWriMo to work on book 12. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that book will unlock for me too. And then all bets are off. Like, I'm just going to dive into it. I might even slow down on some of my other videos on heart breathings to get that book done. So maybe some writing retreats. And speaking of that, there's potential in 2023 to have an in-person writing retreat and book signing here in the Dallas area next year. So if you would be interested in that, we will be talking about that more towards the beginning of the year. So it's going to be awesome. Oh no to what? No to what? So let me know. I don't know what she's responding to. Also, just to kind of give an update on 6 months for life, because we are almost halfway through month 4 for me. And I did not obviously start doing vlogs the way that I had originally thought that I would do. I had this idea of like vlogs of me like getting into my workouts and my morning routine and stuff. But it ended up being that I needed to kind of do this part of the journey by myself. And then I think what I'll do is I'll try to do some vlogs in my next 6 months for life starting in January, because I just needed this kind of time to myself. But what I do want to reflect on and tell you is that I definitely did not start out perfect. So if you're not familiar with 6 months for life, it's not like an official program. It's just something that I call like my own personal journey. And some other people have started to kind of join in, where you basically are just focusing on habits and the type of life that you want to build for yourself so that you can build a foundation for the rest of your life in 6 months. And I started out really small, just little habits like making my bed, getting up with the alarm, doing basic things like a daily small, like 5-minute meditation. And I wanted like lose weight, get my diet in order, take care of my PCOS, start exercising. I wanted to do all those things, but I knew that I couldn't. If I tried to do them all at once, I would be setting myself up for failure. So instead, what I've done is just like, when I first started this in July, it was just those simple things: get up with the alarm, make your bed. And as long as I could do that, I was moving forward 6 months for life. And then as I moved into the next month, it became, okay, let's start to add to that a little bit. Now that I'm in those habits, let's start to add. And it's not like I decided I was going to do it and every day I did it. It was just like, okay, I did it. And then I had a rough week where Evie was up all night. Now I can't get up with my alarm, but I'm going to try again tomorrow. And it has taken me to month 4 to start working on my diet. And the diet space was really more about trying to get my PCOS under control. If you're not familiar with PCOS, it stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it affects more than 10% of women, at least in the United States. And it is an endocrine disorder that is similar to, for most of us, it's insulin resistance, which is kind of similar to diabetes. And many women with PCOS have diabetes, but it's mostly a hormonal endocrine disorder. And it wreaks havoc on our lives. And there are steps that I've been taking, one of which that I haven't talked about yet, that I will share some vlog results on, is I signed up for full body laser hair removal. And this is, if you have PCOS or you are familiar with PCOS, you know that it can add a lot of struggle to your life with hair growth. And I'm just not going to go deeper into that, but like hair growing onto your face and other places that you might not want hair to grow. And So it has been something that I've kind of struggled with most of my life. And I finally decided that I was going to go for this full body laser hair removal. And y'all, I have not shaved my legs in weeks, and it is beautiful. There's just no hair. It's so awesome. And I know that's super personal, but it's just part of the journey. So I have been doing this. It is a full 2-hour process and it is painful, but it is working. So I will share more about that in vlogs. But sometimes I think it's also like, it's one of those things of sometimes just the decision of, I am ready to start changing my life. Even if it, like, it doesn't have to be massive action. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to change my life all in one day, or I'm going big, whatever. It can just be, I'm going to change my life. And over the course of the next 6 months, I am going to do one tiny thing at a time. And those tiny things can start to add up. And the momentum and even just the mental benefit of me telling myself, I'm going to give myself this gift of laser hair removal, which is something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I'm going to give myself this gift of waking up with my alarm. And even George mentioning to me the other day, he's like, it means so much that you're up in the morning to get Andrew ready for school and to say goodbye to him. And it made me realize that, like, at some points in the past when I was struggling more with depression, George was getting our son ready for school and taking him without me even seeing him in the morning because I couldn't get myself out of bed. And so it's that simple act of saying, I'm going to be a priority and I'm going to rest when I need it. When my daughter's been up all night, or, I'm having a particularly bad day, I'm going to be kind to myself and not beat myself up when I don't get up in the morning. But I'm going to make a commitment that I'm going to be there for my son, to help him get ready for school, to be a happy, like, when I grew up, my mom was always mad at me in the morning, every day. Every day I was doing something wrong. She was mad. Things were getting thrown around. And I was a bad person every day in the mornings. And it's like, if I want to create something different for my family, then I want to get up in the morning and create a positive, nurturing environment for my son before he goes to school, so that he can have a good day for himself, And so sounds like such a small thing. It's not like, oh, I hit the New York Times or some other big goal, but it's taking those tiny steps to work toward having a better life for my family has been like changing everything around me. And like I said, there's some things I can't talk about. And I know that not everything's going to be perfect, but there's so many good things moving in my life right now. And I have to say that I think it's because of 3 months of just those simple motions of, I'm going to get up. I'm going to continue to recommit myself. And I thought that, I think sometimes I expect myself to be like, I'm going to make this decision. And that means every day I'm going to work out, or every day I'm going to do this thing. And it's not really like that. It's not like you just make a decision once and then you do it forever. It's like you make a decision and then you recommit to it every single day, 5, 10, 15 times a day. And if you lose yourself somewhere in the process, do you know how to get back to yourself? Do you know how to get back to home where you say, okay, I remember now, these are the things. And that's been my practice, my spiritual practice over the past 4 months with 6 months for life. And I just wanted to share it with you before we go today, because I think it's a good reminder of, like, sometimes the practice is simple things. And sometimes the practice is, I do the best I can. If I fall off the wagon, I know how to bring myself back to myself. I know how to bring myself back to what's important. I know how to be kind to myself. I know how to bring myself back to love and the things that I want to accomplish in my life. And then I recommit myself, and then I keep moving forward. And I know that I'm going to have to go through that recommitment period 1,000 times, maybe for the rest of my life, but I'm not going to give up on myself. And that's one of the biggest things. And, if there's anything I can leave you with before we say goodbye on this Friday, I will see some of you tonight and throughout the weekend. And then I will see you guys next week for our Spooktacular stuff. But if there's anything else I can leave you with before we go, it's this, is that small changes can have ripple effects in your life. Small changes can add up to massive, amazing results if you just believe in yourself, love yourself, and take the smallest tiny action that you're capable of taking. So don't forget that you are a powerful person. And if you feel like your life is out of control, do what you can to reclaim some piece of that power. Where can I control things? Where can I make a decision? And then start trying to commit to that over and over and over again until you start to see the positive momentum show up in your life. Because this time last year, even though I was getting ready for the Spooktacular and I was having fun because we were at Disney, I was also, unbeknownst to my community, being severely attacked, entrenched in legal fees and stuff like that. And I was terrified and I was super, super stressed to the point of breaking down, sobbing in the Airbnb at the end of the night. And I feel like my life has totally transformed over the past year. And I know that everybody is capable of those types of transformations. And if you're sitting in that place where you are sometimes finding yourself falling to your knees and crying, just know that that is not the place that you have to live for the rest of your life, that you have a community, that you have people that care for you, and you don't have to change your whole life overnight to get better. You just need to take one tiny action towards yourself, for your life. So if that resonates with you, just know that I love you. I'm here for you. We're in this together and life is good. Just don't give up. Don't give up. It does get better. All right. So love you guys. Cannot wait for the rest of the Heart Breathing's writing community virtual retreat this weekend. I literally cannot wait for Spooktacular. You guys have no idea how much work Renee has been doing on this. So I'm just so grateful for her too. It's going to be amazing. I love you guys. Cannot wait for that celebration to start on Wednesday. I hope you have a great weekend and I will see you later. Bye.